Hi, Donnie. Let's go ahead and take a look. I've got your composition up in a separate window here. And I think I've got that oriented pretty well that we can see. Let me just try. The camera's a little bit noisy. Let's move the camera a little bit. And then let's just try to reorient this just a little bit so we can fit it in the window and not miss anything. That looks perfect, right? Okay, let's go through the requirements and then let's go through um, the typography and the composition. Okay, it's an excellent start. Excellent, excellent start. Very compelling. It's interesting. It's interesting, and it immediately draws you in. And I think that's really an interesting thing in and of itself. So let's go ahead and take a look. First thing I want to do is go through the requirements. So in order to do so, I'm just going to go and I'm going to borrow all of this stuff right here from. By the way, week 4 assignment 4, part 1 page. The first introductory paragraph, the instructions, the objectives, and the design requirements is where I'm getting all of these requirements. So I got a little hit list here that I'm going to use, but that's where I get all of the information I'm going to cover. So let's take a look at the requirements, shall we? Then we'll take a look at the layout and the typography. So object must be dominant. It is. Object must be shown with someone using it or interacting with it, but don't have that. We need an image of somebody maybe applying nail polish, but we need an image of somebody using it or interacting with it, okay? Must show an image which is the result of using the object. Got it? Must show at least 2 components. I mean, what can we do? Show the bottle and the caps? Well, I'm okay showing components of the manicure process. So I'm perfectly fine with it. So there's your 2 components. Must include a headline, design in everyday life, which, by the way, is composed beautifully, I might add. Must add a paragraph and captions. I want to talk about your captions in a second. White background only, asymmetrical 7 by 15, got all that. Imagery must come in contact somewhere with the edge of the page twice, got that here. Design must combine images that are in boxes as part of the background and cropped. That's cropped individually. These are in boxes. When it says boxes, basically it should say containers. So circles are just fine. Design to combine images of, okay, got that. Full color, keep image dominant, use the grid. Okay, now let's go ahead and take a look. As I said, it's an excellent start. I think this typographic composition right here is really super, super interesting. One thing that we can bring just a little more harmony into this, and I'm just going to grab my handy dandy trusty straight edge, and I just want to show you that the end of that word in, or I should say the beginning of that word in, isn't really aligned with anything. Now I know it's got that little kind of arm right there. So, but just take the bulk of that and try to get that aligned with something. I think the S would be perfect. So nudge that over a little bit so the word in is in alignment with the S. That's going to really increase the harmony. Might entail having to reduce the size of these a little bit, but that's okay. I think this image is pretty large anyways. So typographic composition is really, really interesting. Now, these converging lines right here, I think they create a little bit of visual clutter, and visual clutter is a industry-specific language. I'm not using that term as to be discouraging. It is actually a term we use in graphic design, meaning an area where too many visual elements converge. And we can see that right through here with all of these lines here with the circles and the type. So I don't think we need these lines over here. I really don't. I think if you want to kind of frame this out a little bit, maybe take some of these drips and just maybe have them coming down and dripping in the composition as opposed to boxing this off with all of these converging lines. The captions are good, but they're not consistent. This is much smaller than this. My recommendations for captions, I wouldn't even put them on a circular path. I would just place them somewhere where you know that they belong. Like for instance, this could be, I know it belongs with this, but it almost looks like it could belong to this. It's just kind of halfway between both, right? So you want to make it really obvious what image the caption belongs to. So, okay, so here you can put cut right there, buff right there, nail art right there, okay? I don't recommend putting those on that, although you've handled it quite nicely. And I also would recommend placing your captions in italic typeface, just to further differentiate those from body copy and the other areas. Rags need a little bit of adjustment, okay? So these are great right through here, but that right there is a little bit, not bad at all, believe me, it's not bad at all, but just to reinforce your understanding of setting up your rags, I want to go over to the course announcements. And I'm wondering, these 4 announcements are really important. I mean, I would oops, didn't want to do that. I opened one of those announcements accidentally, but I just want to show you these 4 announcements here. If you haven't, definitely get in there and take a look. Knowing you probably already have, but these are really, really, really important, and to a very high degree, these 4 announcements will contribute to the success of the projects for the rest of the class. So be sure to get in there. There's examples, tips, tricks, videos, tutorials, all sorts of resources in there. You definitely want to get in there. Actually, in this top video here, how to complete assignment 4, I actually deconstruct this example right here. This is that coffee example from week 1 announcement. This is it right here. This is one of the best pieces I've ever seen while teaching this class, and I explain exactly why. You want to take a look at that. Okay, so as I said, okay, so let's get back to what we have here. So the circular, boy, the thing with me is, where did the circles come from? Okay, they work. I mean, they're working fine, but I mean, one would theoretically think that we're going to take some kind of component from here and use it here. Now, sure, the opening of the bottle is a circle, so I guess that works, but I just want you to be aware that decisions like that should be, really should be kept in mind. Okay, other than that, a couple of missing requirements, a couple of comments on typesetting. This type right here, I think is too large. I do. I think that we could really activate some negative space in here. Right now, I think that, as I said, I think the typesetting is pretty good. Almost looks like, boy, I hope you're not, no, I don't think so. You're not using 2 spaces after periods. It's hard to tell here, but you don't want to. Only 1 space after periods. I think your leading here is a little bit wide. I think we can reduce the type size here. I think the type size is a little large in relationship to the headline subhead combination, but let's go ahead and reduce this a little bit, just the type size here. I think right now it's consuming. I think it's just too large. Spatial relationship comparatively to the headline, I think it's just a little bit large. So reduce the size of that a little bit. Watch those other comments I made, and I think you're good to go. As I said, it's a fantastic start. So at this point, if I've said anything that needs to be clarified, just let me know. I'll be glad to do so before Sunday, or long before you even start working on your final submission for Sunday. Good job at sampling color out. It looks like you grabbed some color for design from the darker portion of the image, and it looks like you grabbed the lighter color from the lighter colors in the image. So that was very smart, okay? Yeah, it's a great start. Really good job. So again, any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you very much.